What's going on, everybody? It's about that time. It's head towards midnight. My videos, for some reason, seem to do better at nighttime. My shorts, at least. This won't be a short. Either way, it doesn't matter what time I post this. I just want to say that I completed today sober. Now, listen, it's hard going sober, y'all. Very hard going sober. This will probably be my third time this year trying to go sober from weed and alcohol. Um, it's just not easy. It's not an easy task. Um, and every time, what makes me slip up is boredom or stress. It's usually those two. An idle mind is the devil's playground. It's very true, man. So I'll be doing good for 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think the longest I've ever lasted, I don't even know, man, 2 or 3 months maybe. And I've been trying to go sober for years now. I did 3 years house arrest. I tried to go sober those whole 3 years house arrest and never went sober on house arrest. Um, so it's hard. Why do I want to go sober so bad? There's a few things. There's a few reasons. Um, I'll start with the way weed alters your mind. I don't think clear when I'm high. I don't manage my money well when I'm high. And when I don't have weed, I stress out very well. And the only thing, very much, and the only thing that's on my mind is uh, getting the next high. People act like weed isn't as addictive as crack and cocaine, but it is. I know it is. Um, and it's not for everybody, but some people have addictive personalities. And if you have an addictive personality and you're smoking weed, my weed addiction has been just as bad as somebody on cocaine or crack. It's true. And people act like that's not true. It's very true. At 18, when I graduated high school, I committed a few burglaries, some robberies. The reason I was committing those burglaries and robberies was simply because I didn't have weed, alcohol, or cigarettes. So I would rob somebody or break into somebody's house and go to the pawn shop in order to get high again for the next day or for the next few days or whatever. And that's a common thing amongst potheads, especially if you're prone to violence. Um, Another thing is people, like I dated these two girls when I was on that 3 years house arrest. I dated these two girls at different times. And um, anytime we ran out of weed, we'd be in there stressing in the house, stressing. So each time, both girls, what they would do is they take something to the pawn shop with my consent, of course. And we'd get a loan on whatever we got a loan on from the pawn shop in order to keep smoking. This is very embarrassing to admit. I would have never admitted this a couple years ago or a year ago even. Um, so weed is very addictive, and it makes you idle, and it makes you slow. It makes you not think well. We all know weed kills brain cells. People just scoop that under the table like it's nothing, but you need your brain cells. Um, I don't think the same, and like even when making music or whatever, I feel like the choices I make, my mind is just very blurry. My thoughts are very blurry. They're not clear, and I can't think straight. I'm a chef also, so when creating recipes, it messes with me in that way as well because I'm a chef, but I also have to supervise, and I am very forgetful um, at work sometimes. Um, I still get the job done well, but still, I could make my job run a lot smoother for me and for people under me or people around me um, if I just stay sober. Another thing is, I do believe that um, when you are high off weed, it makes you susceptible to the devil's tricks. Now, I posted a video before about how I suffered from sleep paralysis, the ones where you see the shadows. I suffered from sleep paralysis, seeing shadows from around the age of 10, and it lasted to like my mid to late 20s. So it lasted for at least 15 years. Off and on, it only happened when I was by myself. It didn't happen when I had somebody living with me, a girl or something. It didn't happen when I went to jail or prison. It never happened when I was around people. It only happened when I was by myself. And it started when I was young. When it first started, I saw these shadows I told my family, ran downstairs. I was in a bathtub. I saw three the first time I saw them. Ran downstairs, told my family what I saw. They started laughing at me. I knew how crazy it sounded. I started laughing. I brushed it. I just ignored it. Afterwards, continued watching TV with my family, or sat down and watched TV with my family. But when it was time to go back upstairs and go to bed, I was scared because I know what I just saw. So I asked my mother if I could sleep in her room, and she let me sleep in her room for about a day. One day, I believe, and told me I had to go back to my room. And that first night that I went back to my room, the shadow appeared. And I think it appeared like every night that first week for a few days straight. It appeared every night. And from that day on, I kept it to myself. So I had to deal with these shadows by myself for almost 15 years, or over 15 years. I say that to say that, what were these shadows? Were they demons? Were they fallen angels? How do you differentiate the two? I don't know what they were, but I know they were evil. You could tell just from their energy that they were evil, and just from the presence. It was an evil presence. So it makes me wonder, man, like, so these shadows, when I saw them, they looked shocked when I saw them. The look on their face, it's hard to say that a shadow has a face, or it's weird to say, but it had like a face. They had faces. And first it went from shocked to anger. They were shocked that I could see them. I'll never forget that. And then it went to anger. And then the only one that showed up, the one that was really pissed off, was the one in the middle. I told you it was three of them. And the one in the middle looked very pissed off, man. I didn't even notice how pissed off the ones on the side, the ones in the front and the back were, because they were like tiptoeing through the house, like creeping through the house. It looked like they were tiptoeing. Like they were going to make a noise or something, like they were burglars. And they saw me. And I saw them. And so it was the one in the middle that looked very pissed off. And that's the one that came to see me every night. I could tell it was him just from his energy. I could just tell from his energy that it was the same spirit every night. And I say that to say, I wonder, like, just even right now, what's around us that we can't see. I do believe that there are evil forces in play that push us to do bad. They try to push us away from God. I know the devil hates mankind. I know the devil knows he'll never be able to enter the kingdom of heaven again. And I believe that the devil wants to take as many of us with him as possible. And I suggest people read their Bibles, because the Bible has a lot of wise words in it. And so many things in the Bible, stories in the Bible, are so relevant to today. And then you can just look at stories in the Bible and ask and answer questions that you have just by reading certain stories, like the Adam and Eve story. I know how clever the devil is, how he probably wouldn't have been able to get to Adam on his own. So what he did was he got to Eve, who he knew as a woman. It says in the Bible that women are the weaker vessel. So that's why a lot of women are naive, and they kind of sort of come off as delusional sometimes. So it's no disrespect. It's not, women are when a woman's in her role, she's very powerful. There's nothing more powerful than a man with a good woman by him. But most of these women just don't, they don't know that. So they aren't good women. Anyways, I digress. So, I believe that there are spirits at play, and I believe because the devil hates us, that he will use windows of opportunity to try to nudge us in the wrong direction. And I do believe that weed truly makes you susceptible to his tricks. It alters your brain. And I know that when I'm smoking weed, I cannot read the Bible. When I'm sober, I can read the Bible, I can understand it. When I am smoking weed, when I'm high and I try to read the Bible, my mind can't get through it. I can't comprehend. It's like my brain is too fuzzy. So that's another reason why I wanted to go sober. Is just to make sure I get my place in the kingdom of heaven. That's where I want to be. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to, I've lived in a very lonely life, and I've done a lot of dirt, and I've had a lot of things done against me. And I don't want to be, after this crazy world, I want to go to paradise. I don't want to be somewhere suffering, or even if people believe that there's not a hell, I don't want to be somewhere where these people on earth that are just ill, I don't want to be somewhere where the average person that I run into, I don't want to be around them. I want to be in paradise. When I go to work, or if I go anywhere, around a group of friends, that I used to hang around with or whatever. Just the amount of negativity in the air when people are talking, man. At work, people gossip about each other very bad. Being around friends, people gossip around each other. It's just all that negativity. I don't want to be around that. I want to get into the kingdom of heaven. And I believe being sober will help me achieve that goal. So I believe the devil's tricking a lot of us. Either way, this is day one. Not only am I able to see things clearer, when I'm high, when I think about good versus evil, and I think about God and the devil, and I think about the Bible and try to read the Bible, it just isn't that clear. So I like having this clear mind. But I've mentioned this already. I'm gonna say it again. I'm sorry, y'all. This is a little choppy. The money. When you're not smoking weed, an addiction of weed can cost you easily $200 a week. Easily. You mix that with alcohol, and let's say you're just drinking light, you might get a 6-pack every day, maybe every once in a while you add a little something to that. That could be $10, $15, $20 a day. So you could easily spend $200-$300 a week smoking weed and alcohol. When I was making decent money, I was easily spending, man, $500, $600, $700, $800 a week on weed and alcohol. Easily. People didn't even know how much money I was making at that time because I wasted it all. My addiction is bad. I think it's because I've had a very dark, not dark, I don't know. The shadows did make my childhood dark. My father and my mother were a certain type of way as well, which I still have a good relationship with both of them. But, it was hard for me growing up. I was lonely, and my sisters, they had men to go to. I had nobody to go to. It's different when you're a guy. You can't get women as easily as women get men. So I had to deal with all those struggles on my own. And I think that's what helped me develop an addictive personality. So with me not smoking weed and drinking, I'm able to manage my money a lot better. My studio should be way more advanced than this. Just the fact that I'm able to be in a house by myself and pay bills and just maintain is really a blessing when you look at how much money I've wasted and how many bad decisions I've made recently and over the years. And a lot of that is because of my addictions. So, this is day one sober. I will keep y'all updated. I want everybody who watches this video who is religious to please pray for this journey of sobriety that I'm taking probably for the 100th time. It's the Scrooge.